You're off limits, man. Whoa. Okay, calm down.
You refer to what's often called the Maidan Revolution as a coup, which occurred in 2014. And as someone who's been in the military and also in the State Department, why do you see it as a coup?
Well, if you look at how the U.S. Implements coups, it's normally starting with large amounts of money that go through the National Endowment for Democracy, the Republican National whatever, the Democratic whatever, and that's for citizen activism on whatever subject the U.S. government feels, or primarily the CIA, feels will cause disruption in the country and could perhaps get big enough that there could be a mobilization that might force the government out. And if you look back, that's exactly what happened. And the whole issue of who got hired with the monies that were put in there by the U.S. government, because there were several $billions that went in from the U.S. government on citizen activism, public diplomacy, whatever, plus the fact the U.S. was already sending in special forces people to help on a military movement, to help militias get weapons, get training, and be there available on the Maidan to orchestrate killings. And if you think back, there were snipers that were killing people from rooftops. There, over in Odessa, there was a massacre there that was part of the right-wing Azimov battalion that the U.S. helped fund, even though publicly they won't say it, but there are special forces people that we know that say, oh yeah, we helped them. And in fact, they still are, because the Azimov battalion has now been integrated.
The Azov battalion,
yeah,
right?
Azov battalion has been integrated into parts of the Ukrainian military. So I think this is one of the coups that will go down in history, yet one more of the U.S. warmongering that turned sour. And the Russians had been saying to the U.S. for a long time, don't keep pushing the Ukraine toward membership into NATO. Don't do it, don't do it. You can read the numerous speeches of Putin over the last 15 years, and they'd been saying that. And so the Maidan issue and chaos that came out of that, with the president then leaving the country, the more pro-Russian, not real pro-Russian, but he was kind of siding a little bit more with Russian economic policies rather than the Western policies. But it was and he only had less than a year left in office, so that he was going to get voted out, apparently. But no, the U.S. stuck its little fingers in there. And then Victoria Nuland, at the time the Assistant Secretary for European Affairs, was in the Ukraine and saying, yeah, cookies for the, not coup makers, she didn't quite say that, but then our boy yachts and right. Fuck the UN and all this sort of stuff.
Fuck the EU,
yeah. And then now she's the Undersecretary for Political Affairs, which is really like the number 3 besides the Secretary of State, Deputy Secretary of State, and then in the area of most influence, it's the Undersecretary for Political Affairs. So you've got her back in that mix.